Hey,
What's good?
everything's
We're
good.
back, baby.
I'm still sounding a little snuffly, but feeling better than last week.
A little sniffly, stuffly.
Hey, I did a rookie draft feeling like a piece of shit.
Just like Bo Burnham.
Yeah. Except my picks weren't a piece of shit. Some might be so, but I don't care.
Little teaser for a future episode. Because this week we're talking about our other league, a Superflex league. I'm excited to talk about that. But yeah, I think we should just get going, bro.
Yeah, dude, I just hit the retweet, so I'm ready.
Alrighty. So we're the guys in Room 619 presenting the Leftovers podcast. Just two best friends. We talk sports, mostly fantasy and betting. Right now we're in off-season mode, so we'll have shows every couple of weeks or so, when there's news to talk about, really. And then as the season starts ramping up in August and stuff, we'll start coming back weekly. There'll be a blast to have, draft season, always a fun season. Training camp news hype. Let's go, baby. Every player's in the best shape of their lives.
Love training camp hype.
I love it. I read it all.
Same.
Let's get going, man. Let's talk some draft. So it's our first show since the real NFL draft. What about let's talk some favorite landing spots.
All right. Well, so first off, we got to talk like real football stuff, because
this is going to be Jaguars.
I'm happy. What?
After this,
Jaguars?
Is about the Jaguars.
Always is, duh. I'm just happy that they didn't take a guy that is just complete ass, because at least Walker is just going to be good. And you know what? That's good enough.
They didn't strike out.
For the Jaguars, that's good enough.
I feel you, man.
And then I got drunk and fell asleep and woke up, and they traded into the first. I was like, whoa! Holy crap!
Right. And then a little later that draft, you lost your phone. R.I.P. to the road.
Bears drafted Elvis. It got rowdy.
We're going right there?
No. I mean, if you want to.
Not yet.
I know you don't want to, but
we'll talk about the Bears later. They hurt my soul. A pick I loved fell way too far. Kyle Hamilton, Baltimore. I feel like everybody. I always love Baltimore's draft, so it's probably
every time.
They just fucking kill it every time.
And then they got who was the offensive lineman?
Linderbaum, the center.
Yeah.
They got two of those guys. I thought were if you ignore position, were the best two players in the draft, and they got them at 14 and 25. But yeah, I just think Hamilton in that scheme is just gonna plow. And they got Marcus Williams, right, the safety from Saints, who's like a true free safety center fielder. So they're just gonna move them all over, and they're smart enough to actually do it and do it right. I just think I just love him there. I think he's gonna just melt face the whole time.
Yeah, that's gonna be lethal. Stat team and safeties. What the fuck?
It's what they do. And draft players that are falling too far.
And get compensatory picks for players that walk.
And then it's so annoying. The way they cycle edges and just constantly get the great comp pick and then just rinse and repeat the whole time.
It's insane.
It's ridiculous.
It's honestly mind-blowing to me that nobody else has even tried.
Yeah. They keep doing it, and everyone's like, why do they keep doing it? How do they keep doing this? And no one adjusts and does what they do.
I was saying it's not like they're hiding or trying to be sneaky.
No.
It's very obvious what's happening.
Another guy I love just because he went to the high school that in my district, David Bell. Big fan of him. I'm so happy to see him go to Cleveland just because I think he's going to have a quick opportunity there. And he's a good dude from everything I hear from people that used to teach him and stuff. So I'm just cheering for him. And I know one of his former coaches is one of my friend's husband. So, I'm just happy for him. I hope he balls out rookie year. And then my last favorite landing spot was dude, I not going to lie. I didn't really watch him. Cair, Elon. to Buffalo Bills, the cornerback. But Dominique Foxworthy said he loves him, and so former NFL cornerback loves this guy. That's good enough for me. And
Plus
Buffalo,
Bills.
right? They really needed defensive backs. Like that's why they lost that game. Like you can say they should have gotten the ball, and they should have also gotten the ball in overtime. But if they had better cornerbacks, maybe they hold them to a field goal or some shit. You know what I mean?
Like even once.
Right.
Like, I saw a Twitter clip of his interview with the Bills at the combine. Did you see this? It was really cool. The Bills had a camera in on the interview, and he sits down with a binder, and he's like, "This is my notebook from this past year. It has my notes for every team I played and the receivers and things I thought I was going to see, and then I would write afterwards what I did, and here's things I can improve on." And like he's like, "Here's everything I took during meetings." He's like, I am so hard on details and putting in the little work, and like it was impressive as hell. So
that really shows he was a professional, already.
Right.
Which, like, those are the habits that make you successful.
Kadarius Toney.
Following through, understanding that you're not a finished product. Your shit does stink. You can get better every game, but you got to be a dick towards yourself. You know what I mean? Like, you got to be like, no, I'm not doing this right. I need to get better. Like, oh, I just like, it's so easy to be like, I got unlucky. It was schemed against me. It was the safety's fault. Like, it's so easy to be like, give up these excuses, but it's like, no, start with yourself. So I love that. That makes me even happier about him.
Right. And what round did he go?
End of the first.
Like second? Oh, end of the first? Okay.
Yeah.
But
so like go wide receiver, but.
So he's clearly a dude with a lot of talent, and then to see like he has that mental makeup already to go with it, like plus the situation. Yeah, that's big time all in. I like it.
Yeah. All right. What about you? What were some of yours?
Jordan Davis.
Eagles crushed it.
Going like, I would say a handful of months ago, maybe even like national title playoff time around there. I remember saying in our group chat that like I was like, Jordan Davis this dude's a fucking monster. Should be a top 10 pick. Like,
absolutely.
And so what, he was like 13, I think.
13 or 14, around that range.
Regardless, the dude is 19 feet tall and weighs 642 pounds. and he
ran 4.7. That's like slow wide receiver speed.
He eats dump trucks full of chain links for breakfast, like with a spoon and
says
toilet bowl
cleaner.
cleaner
get some more
instead of milk.
Drano.
That dude's a man.
Yeah, he's like an eclipse, man. I just don't see how he's not a very good player. Like, maybe he's not Fletcher Cox, maybe he's not, Vita Vea, but I just like, he's gonna get a second contract. Like, he plays a role, and then you add in the fact that he's crazy athletic, and that's probably going to work out. I think it's great that he gets to learn, play next to Fletcher Cox too. So,
and
yeah,
dude, nose tackle is just so underappreciated in the
I agree.
league, because it's like you don't get the stats everyone wants to see, but it takes a special kind of person to plug two dudes on the offensive line every play.
Yeah, a true two-gap player is so freaking useful, and people just like gonna ignore it, even in a pass rush situation, because like they just don't. They'll push a little bit, and it just stops the quarterback from being able to step up like crazy. It
was like that. The Jacksonville defense in 2017 was obviously really good, but once they got Marcel Darius, that's what set him over the top. Mm-hmm. It was the same thing. It was that dude who you just couldn't move him. So all of a sudden, he even gets one or two steps of push, and here comes everybody else. You're screwed.
All right. What else you got?
Just the Jets in general.
Oh, who'd they pick first?
I don't.
Sauce.
The sauce. I don't know. Sauce. I know me too. I like him. But
dude did not give up a touchdown in college. That's bananas.
That is whack. I don't know if he likes the Jets though, because he tried to run as soon as he got picked.
He did try to run away, which he didn't know they were going to keep drafting studs.
Right. That Jets first round is just is
I love it.
awesome. Like, you got
Wilson.
your stud corner, so like, lock that shit down over there. You got your number one weapon to pair with your young corner, and you've got your pass rusher. Like,
I
and
saw
they
him
already
mocked top 15 literally every single time. I don't know how he fell to the 20s.
I know. And they got Becton last year. So, like, as
Yeah.
far as
If his
helping your
back
rookie
is good,
quarterback, they arguably have filled the top 4 most important positions in the team. Aside from that,
plus you got Brees and Carter. That's an excellent backfield.
Mhm.
Like they've really. I mean, their O line could be better, but remember they got that guard too. They traded up
Mhm.
for him. He has like the hyphenated name. Yeah, they've really have done a lot to Zach Wilson a shot. So there's too many Wilsons on that team. But anyway,
Right. But yeah, props to them
I love
for
the Jets.
no excuses. I mean,
I think that's what you got to do.
right, exactly.
You got to do it early on, and then be like, all right, that's fine. Just don't give that second contract to him.
Right, like we gave you the chance, we gave you the tools. Sorry.
All right. So yeah, that was real NFL. Now we're gonna shift over rookie draft. So this is a shared league we started up last summer. So this was our first rookie draft. Super flex. So we wanted to start there because that seems to be the more popular league style or format or whatever. 12 team, full PPR, 3 wide receivers starting, 2 flex. All right, just so you know kind of what the lineup is. Top 6, I think, was pretty chalky. It went Brees, then Walker, then Kenny, Baby Hands Pickett, Wilson, Jameson, Burks. I figure I'll
How big
start
are Kenny Pickett's hands?
that big.
Show me. Oh, well, yeah. Yikes.
We have the same size hands. I'm 5'7".
How tall are you?
5'7". I wonder if I have bigger feet though, because I'm 11 and a half.
It's a good question.
I
am curious about that. I wonder if there's ever been like a player in the league. He hits the equipment guy,
like size 7.
And he's like, I'll take the 7.5s.
That was on another pod. They were roasting some dude because he wears 7.5. I literally was like stunned. I'm like, that is really small.
That is tiny.
Those are like kid youth sizes. But anyway, so I had 104. I was desperately trying to trade up for Walker at 102. Guy wanted Goddard, and I just wasn't going to do it. That wasn't
you
worth
wanted Goddard
2 spots.
To move up 2 spots.
Yeah, for Walker, who I had second, and then Wilson I had third. And honestly, like I wanted running back, I needed running back, but it wasn't like I'll take Wilson happily. I think he's an absolute baller. I've talked about him a lot. He's been my wide receiver 1 all season, and so get your guys. Anybody you want to talk about for the top 6?
You know me, I love Walker. That's no secret. The one thing my favorite troll right now is the fact that like I just think it's so goddamn funny that the fantasy community as a whole is relying so hard on the Jets.
That is so true.
It's like it's so funny because
it's wild.
You look at almost every single draft and how what's the farthest that Wilson's going?
I mean, I don't know how he goes past any later than 105. I don't care what format.
Two top 5 rookie picks to the Jets that like everybody is just completely man crushing on. Like nobody dislikes either of them.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't dislike either of them either.
It's totally we're being forced into it.
Right. And so like it's just I think it's so funny that as a whole the fantasy community is putting so many of their chips into the fucking Jets.
I know. I wanted Wilson to Atlanta and London to the Jets. I think those would have been better for both of those fantasy styles.
I actually agree with you, yeah.
But
because I think with Zach Wilson's accuracy inconsistencies, London would have been better off, but
I was just saying, for someone to be paired with Pitts, I'd rather a speed vertical stretch guy,
That too.
which I know London is contested catch, so he'll get downfield targets, but he's not like the field stretcher that would open up the underneath, like a
Right.
Tyreek Kelsey kind of thing. Um, and then with the Jets, like Elijah Moore, like is a good player, and he's very similar to
Mm-hmm.
Garrett Wilson, kind of undersized, that route
Right.
runner, explosive guy. So I just thought it was weird to kind of that both teams like kind of double down on what they already had.
I didn't think of that, and that is very strange.
Yeah, very odd, very odd. Back half of the first, and we're just doing this as a first every pick. We'll just pick some guys for the later rounds. But the back six went Olave at 107, then Drake London, Sky Moore, James Cook, Christian Watson, and then Jahan Dotson. I had 112 and took Dotson. I know Pickens was on the board. I really like Dotson. I think his quickness and catch radius, and I think it's crazy impressive what he did with that quarterback at Penn State at the Clifford. I don't even know his
So
name.
impressive.
He just pissed me off because he would just. I love Penn State, betting Penn State, but like it was so hard to watch.
Oh, dude,
throw the ball.
that might have been his name, and it should be because he couldn't even hit Clifford with the fucking ball.
I love it.
Zing.
London was someone I was trying to trade up for at 108. Again, the dude who took him at 108 just is kind of unresponsive, or just chose to be unresponsive. Maybe just to me. Maybe he really wants London, but he wouldn't even talk with me in trade talks.
I was surprised Olave went over him.
Yeah, that was my buddy who took him, and honestly, I get it. He's win now, and he's like, there's a lot of Olave was a great pairing with Michael Thomas. I think he fell into one of the best landing spots because I had Olave a lot lower, and then I raised him up.
Right, landing spot helped him a lot for sure.
Cook was someone I was hoping would be there at 112. I wasn't trying to trade out for him though. I think he's just a benefactor of his situation, which is very dangerous to draft upon. But at 112, I was like,
yeah,
I'll take that. Right. So I just went best player available because I had Dotson, I think wide receiver 7. So I just think he's a good player.
Do you have anybody you want behind you at 201, and I was gonna take whoever you didn't between Pickens and Dotson.
Yeah, that was a toughie for me. I like Pickens. I don't like. I know Pittsburgh has a good hit record with wide receivers. I think they're nuts if they let Deontay walk, and so I just don't see how he's above like the third option there for a couple of years. And I'm trying to win right now, so
I feel that. You know what I personally think it is? Long-term Claypool replacement.
I can see that
because it's the same type of player, and honestly, Claypool ain't shit.
And I told myself if he fell out of the top 50 picks, which the Bears had picked 50, I wasn't going to touch him early on because that tells me that his medicals have to be risky because there's no reason he wasn't a top 20 player in this class unless it was the medicals. And so like maybe the Bears are idiots. They are. But that's what I told myself. And so maybe Pittsburgh either A, trust his medicals, or B, are planning, a specific regimen for him to keep that knee in good shape. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, I don't know.
And I don't know who knows, because it's like it's one of those things where you could be totally right and his knee could explode into pieces soon. But then you see reports like when Miles Jack dropped to the second, everyone said his knee was a ticking time bomb, and he's still playing.
Right, and then and I agree 100%. And like devil's advocate, you have Jalen Smith, the guy from Notre Dame, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Right. He was top 5 pick, blew out his knee, came back, but then he's done now. You know what I mean? Like he just had a short shelf life.
Yeah, and they took him over Miles Jack, which even like was like more of a wrench in it because people were like, wait, what?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, wild.
So yeah, so that was the first round. We just wanted to go there, the big guys, and kind of give you an idea of how a real draft went with real players with money and everything on the line, not just a mock. Let's talk some of our favorite mid round prospects. I know you got a guy you love that you were happy to nab in this draft.
Yeah, man. Honestly, didn't really know much about him before the draft. Um, we were sitting at the bar watching Friday night, and he gets drafted, and I was like, "Yo, this guy,
Landing
Alligator! Look at this
spot.
guy. His name's Alligator." First of all, um, not really. It's
Algier,
Tyler. How do you say it?
Algier.
Alligator. Cool.
All right, nailed
So Alligator.
it.
So I dug into him a little bit, and he's just got
BYU guy.
that. Yeah, he's got that big bruising running style, and they just released Mike Davis, and then for them to put the kind of capital they did in him, when you're drafting early in rookie drafts, you draft for talent. The later you
Hmm.
go, you can start to let situation take over.
And swing for the
Um,
fences.
right, and for me, I've been loading both my dynasty teams with stud receivers. So for the mid to late, a lot of my picks are running backs because just give me numbers.
Hmm.
So situationally, big fan of Alligator. I think his running style is going to match with Cordell really well. They're going to have either Mariota or a young quarterback, a lot of runs. I think I just think it's just a good pick for fantasy.
And like teams, like there's, it's notable that Pitts had one receiving touchdown. Like I'll blame
Right.
Matt Ryan a ton, but that also shows what the defenses were trying to prevent. Because there's no,
Yes.
like, you know what I mean? But I like, one of my favorite mid round prospects is Desmond Ritter in a super flex. He went early in the second round. Um, like I think that Atlanta offense is on the rise. So I think that also makes sense. Like if he's able to get there, and fuck around and find a spot, like that could end up being an absolute money pick. Like if there's an Elijah Mitchell this draft, it's probably him, right?
You would think so, yeah.
I mean, he had that bad 40 time. People liked him a lot, and then he ran, I think, like late 4.6, like 4.65, something like that. So,
Hmm.
but he
Man,
had like breakaways at BYU. Like I think he's probably that long speed kind of guy more than that
right.
quick burst. But yeah, I think that's a good play. But yeah, I'll just jump into. I already mentioned it. So Ritter, if you've been paying attention to us, I love Ritter. I think he is like that absolute. Like I think he's Dak Prescott, where I think he's got a lot of physical talent, but then on top of that, he's like a great leader and like a very much a professional, and like he's a glue guy. Like they said, like they're talking to Sauce, and he said no one talks more shit than Ritter. Like that clearly shows that he is like, yeah, I have respect for that guy. And so he's going to be able to rally the locker room, which I know is cliche, but I also think it's important at the quarterback position that
Still
you're a
matters,
leader on
yeah.
the team, right? And I think he's going to get a shot because Mariota's Mariota, and why not see what Ritter can do?
Oh,
And
it's
so,
it's very obvious when NFL players know their quarterback ain't it.
mhm. And so, he's got all the talent in the world, like especially athleticism. His broad jump and 40 time are like 95th percentile for quarterbacks. Like he is like that special athlete. Like he is a Jalen Hurts type, but he's like 6'3". So we'll
He's a
see.
big guy.
I'll do another one of mine. I already mentioned him, David Bell, so I won't take too long on him. I just think I think, especially if Watson's able to play this year, I think Bell could really, really take off. He's got Cooper on the other side. He's someone that hasn't always been consistent or healthy a lot. So I think like Donovan Peoples-Jones, I think he's good for what he is, but he's like that vertical stretch guy. I don't think he's anything else. So I think Bell could really eat in the short intermediate route area and be kind of like a safety blanket type for Watson if he plays this year.
Oh, easy, especially because without Landry now.
Yep. All right, give us one of your favorites mid round guys.
Um, huge fan of Khalil Shakir.
I know. I
Um,
loved him. That's why I wanted the Bears to draft over Pelvis Jones.
right. I was a big fan of him coming into the draft just because of one thing I've learned to really look for and appreciate and like in a receiver or a receiving prospect, I guess, is can they get themselves open?
Mm-hmm.
and this guy can.
He can.
We
He's a good
saw
route
with
runner.
Cooper Kupp, his college tape is he gets himself open, like,
Right.
and that stuff translates. So, as a mid prospect, go to the Bills. Like,
Glorious.
I love it for real and fantasy. Like, I think Shakir got just immaculate uh, mix of talent and landing spot.
And like long term wise, like
Right.
you got Gabriel Davis, who's young, but he's entering, I think, year 3, and
I
mid
believe.
round. So who knows if he's going to get a second contract. Diggs is like, I think, 28, 29. That's kind of the cliff at
Somewhere,
wide
yeah.
receiver. And, Sanders is gone. Beasley's gone. I know they sent Jamison Crowder, but he's another old wide receiver. Like,
Mm-hmm.
this could end up, if Shakir is, a decent enough player, like he could end up being like a solid wide receiver 3 for years.
Right. And when you're going in the draft and to the third round or whatever, like,
Depth,
that's great
right?
to just get a
Um,
contributor.
no, I agree. I think he went a little early, in my opinion, in our other draft that we'll talk about later. He went in the 3rd this year to you. I love that pick. I was trying
Mm-hmm.
to trade up and snap him. My last guy again was a guy I drafted, was shocking. I think he's a good player, but it's Wan'Dale Robinson. We've talked about it on the pod. He's short king. I love him. Shifted to wide receiver full time at Memphis, and just was
Kentucky.
like the best player on the field. Kentucky. Thank you. I get them mixed up with all those recent Memphis guys.
And they're like
It,
Kentucky, Tennessee, both blue. You're
right, right,
fine.
right, right.
It's not on you. It's on them.
I appreciate that. But yeah, I think I think he's a really good player. I think he's got a lot to offer. And then he went to the Giants at pick 43. So that tells, this regime picked this dude this early. Like, clearly they have a plan for him. I've been a Dabo guy. I'm not a Daniel Jones guy, but this offense potentially could be a ton better. And so I've been
My
like in best ball drafts, I've been getting Kenny Galladay, I've been getting Daniel Jones like late, just because like, hey, it might happen,
right. My first thought when that happened, because we were sitting at the bar together watching that night, and I look over and I
Mm-hmm.
said, "That's a Dable pick."
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I like it.
I think the league is moving more and more towards, hey, here's the ball, go,
Yep.
because it's easy. You're not throwing picks. You're not,
Mm-hmm.
ideally you're not losing a bunch of yards. You're not getting sacked. Like,
Especially on a team who can't trust their quarterback in the way some teams are able to.
and if you're gonna load the box against Saquon, then okay, that
Right.
quick screen,
Yeah.
happen. Make one dude miss and see what happens. And then you got one more who I like
Ooh,
too.
I like Trey McBride. I snagged him in one of my drafts because I have Ertz. That was like the main reason I did.
Trippy
But
taxi move.
yeah, but I really just like the pick for the Cardinals because Ertz is not going to be around forever,
Mm-hmm.
and I think what we saw Ertz do to that offense when he got traded, it was huge, man.
He became like Jason Witten, just
Right?
8 yards, button hook, boom. I know that's
Yeah. Here
money.
you go. And Ertz clearly doesn't have the juice and the step he used to, but it doesn't matter. Like the way they
PPR
use
baby.
him, right? So, and now imagine when in a year from now when McBride is more acclimated, they can start running more 2 tight end sets. Well, then you get to year 3, and maybe you're starting to phase out Ertz more, and now you've actually got an athletic guy there.
Right.
Big fan. He was easily the most athletic. I think there's a lot of Goddard comp there because it's like the small school athletic tight end with production. It's rare you
Well,
see what
he's the most athletic tight end that was like actually did anything. Because Jelani
that's
Woods
that
is an absolute monster athletically, but
no, that's what I'm saying is
production.
it's very rare that you get both out of a college prospect, a tight end.
I agree.
So I think that just spells good things for him, and I love the landing spot. So
All right, so let's talk some of the later guys. One I had Shakir here, because I think he's more of a third round guy. We already talked about him. I think he's wonderful. And then a deep sleeper, like I'm talking late fourth round, early fifth round, is Jerome Ford. One, I loved the dude's tape out of Cincinnati. I think he has burst. I think he has power. I think he's like a perfect like spread kind of shotgun running back where he can, get a late box and just really make you punish you for like, okay, if you're gonna play that cover two shell, I'm gonna get 7 yards running with this dude. Um,
so Kareem Hunt.
Kareem Hunt's a free agent after this year, and he's
Mm-hmm.
27, 28, so he's hitting his cliff. Nick Chubb is sneaky old. He's 27. He's gonna be here this year, and he'll be there next year as well in 23. But after 23, he is there's an option to cut him, like an opt out. That's when I think the 24 season, that's when Ford is going to take over. And so he's a great taxi guy to me. And then, yeah, if something happens, if Chubb gets hurt, I don't, like Hunt has shown that he can't really hold it down when he gets the job. He's much better as the complement. So
Right.
I
And
just liked.
Dude, this is just like a talent pick.
That's exactly what I was going to say. It's just
like
a dude I trust.
Right, and you think the talent's going to take over eventually.
Initially, I hated that he went to Cleveland, and then the more I kind of dove into it, I'm like, you know what, this could work. It's just a long-term play.
This is very similar to mine, except for the more I thought about it, mine's long-term and now, and I'm going Snoop Connor. Obviously Jags fan here, but when they took him, I was like, what? Who? What? And then it only took me a few seconds to go, they think James Robinson's dead.
I wish they would have grabbed Ford. I would have loved that.
That would have been awesome.
But anyway,
Robinson coming off the Achilles. I mean, Achilles is the new ACL. Like that thing is just brutal. Like ACLs aren't shit anymore. So I'm sure some people still struggle long term from it. For the most part, ACLs, you put your time in the rehab, you're good.
As long as it's just that, it's the catastrophic knee where you tear like the 3 ligaments. Right. That's the ones like what happened to Tariq Cohen, which also, poor dude. Did you see he tore his Achilles now?
Yeah, did you? And you read the thing he wrote?
Oh, God. Passing. I know. Yeah. He's such, yeah. Anyway, just a bummer. Shout out Tariq. You're the man.
Yeah. For you. So Snoop's just a power runner. He's got long speed, kind of like Alligator. There's nothing special about him, but that's James Robinson. Like he's just a football player, and that's fine because you have ETN to be more than that. So there's no way James Robinson's even remotely healthy until what?
I mean, he tore it in December.
Season, yeah. Like.
No, I think it's a new regime taking him, just kind of like we talked about earlier. Like, when a new regime comes in and they take a guy when there's already like established talent at a position, that tells you something. Like, pay attention.
Like ETN was never gonna be the workhorse to begin with.
He's not gonna get 25 touches. That's not his best. That's not his game. He's 15 to 20. He
himself is coming off the Liz Frank, which is kind of a shady, sketchy foot injury. James Robinson was an undrafted free agent, so he only got a 3-year contract, which means this is his final deal or his final year. So if he's not healthy, he's walking.
Yep.
Other than that, it's just a bunch of no names in that backfield. So
I think that makes sense.
Snoop's gonna walk into playing time on he's gonna be the goal line back. You're not pounding ETN in from the one. I mean, as many times as it's going to pain me, because I have him in a league and he'll be starting. But you know what I mean. Snoop's getting in there at the one. Like
probably.
I'm honestly shocked he's making it to the 4th round in like every league.
I'm not, but I think there is merit to the upside.
And so I have him in both of my leagues. I got him in the fourth, I believe, in both. Maybe the fifth and one. I don't know. It doesn't matter.
And then what's the other guy? The KC guy. I don't know how to say his name.
Me neither. Isaac Pacheco, something like that.
I heard he has a goofy kind of running style. Like he looks kind of weird.
And this is like a complete boomer bust pick.
Mm-hmm.
And I did it in both of my leagues as my 5th round pick. And this is just like crazy fast, crazy athletic running back, just reckless dude out there flying around. And from what I read about him, it didn't really seem like he was going to maybe get drafted or probably be very successful. But you throw him in the Chiefs, and in our Zoom draft, I call that the land of misfit toys backfield because it is.
Yeah, they don't know what they got there.
And they drafted CEH, and he's been not good. You had Jerick McKinnon step in, and he was doing his thing. Damian Williams, and then didn't the other Damian
Darrell
Wilson
Williams.
too? Or Darrell Williams. You had both of those guys. Then you had the one Monday night game or Sunday night or whatever where Derek Gore scores 3 touchdowns.
Yep.
Like all of this after they put a 1st round pick in a guy.
Right. Like it's just
so
there's no
athletic freak getting tossed into the mix in Kansas City. I'll take a shot.
Yeah, and that's like we said. It's you're taking swings late in the draft because they're probably not going to make your team, or they're going to be taxi. So go for upside. But yeah, so that was our rookie Superflex draft. Obviously, if you have other questions, feel free to hit us up. But we'll talk about one QB draft next show and kind of break down that rookie draft and kind of how that differs. That one's going to be way spicier. Just saying, much less chalky. That's our friend league that we've been, tight with for years, and so trading is always interesting in that league. Let's go to cooking and booking. All right, so this one I'm excited to talk about, and it's Luka.
Hell yes,
we're a Luka pod. He's just so freaking enjoyable. But he won just Game 7 versus the Suns. He scored as many points as the Suns team did in the first half, 27. That game was never close. It was the wildest game I've ever seen. Suns, I'm pretty sure we're a 9-point favorite going into that game at Suns.
I moneyline bet the Mavs.
Hell yeah!
It was like plus 235 or something.
That's bananas. But anyway, the whole time while he's just dropping all these points on them, he's laughing in their faces, just laughing every time in the Suns players' faces. And so I'm like, something's here. Like, let me know what's going on. Because so I texted my buddy who's a Mavs fan, and I'm like, dude, tell me what's going on. So I guess Booker, when he got fouled in one of the earlier games, he got fouled kind of hard going for a layup, and he's like laying down, acting like he's dead. And then he looks at some dude who's recording him and says, "That's a Luka special." Basically saying like he exaggerates, he's a flopper, blah, blah, blah. And so then Luka was like laughing in his face every time. He's like, "Oh, I'm soft. Oh, you ain't nothing on me." Like the fact that Book was calling out Luka, like you crazy if you're calling out Luka.
We stand Luka hard here, first of all.
Yes. Facts.
Second of all, my guys had in troll game in NBA playoffs game 7.
Dude is ice cold.
Amazing.
I fucking love that dude. And then Book just has it all the way flipped on him too, because then everyone started posting all the pictures of his face, because every time he gets any contact, he actually just got shot in the knee. And so even a fan showed him his face, and Book laughed about it, because like, what else are you gonna fucking do, man? Like, it is what it is. It's your face.
He's like, yeah, you right.
Yep, you got me there. That was good. I get props. So yeah, Luka, he's the Guan. I'm hoping I might have overreacted and placed the future on them to win the NBA title at plus 750 after that.
Let's go
in Game 7. I love Luka. It's just that simple. Everton, go off, King.
Hell yes. I'm an Everton fan, and
for decades. Well, over a decade.
since about 2010 when we got into soccer. And throughout my time, they've been, as high as like 5th to like 10th, 11th. So they're always pretty good.
Solid.
Well, this year, not. They are, we're in danger of getting relegated. They play today and have a game Sunday. So 2 games left. All they need to win 1, and they were safe.
And because they beat didn't they beat Chelsea?
Oh, they beat Chelsea a couple weeks ago, yeah.
And they beat somebody else who was probably projected as a loss, wasn't it?
I think so, yeah.
Like I don't remember who it was.
Oh no,
Arsenal,
Leicester,
maybe?
you're right.
Okay. Keep going.
So they start the game and they go down 1-0, and like, dude, all the breaks are not going their way. Like, they had a free kick go off the post. They had 2 goal kicks called that were clearly hit a Crystal Palace player first. That should have been corners. It was just like, it was crazy.
To steal a hockey term, it's like when the ice is tilted, and it just seems like everything that could be 50-50 goes the other team's way. It's such a great phrase. Anyway, keep going.
Yes, and it's so frustrating to watch when you're on the wrong side.
Yep.
Anyways, it all comes to like the boiling point when Crystal Palace player comes in, hard, straight from the side, above the ball, and hits him in the knee. Just takes the knee out.
He scissors him.
Yeah.
It was horrible.
And the ref comes in, pulls a yellow. Everybody's pissed. The players are pissed. The crowd's pissed. They go to VAR and they uphold it. It makes no sense. And like legitimately 2 minutes later, the same dude scores a goal, 2-0. So Everton goes from they should be up a man for the rest of the match, and now they're down 2-0. Well, they scored 3 in the second half to take it home. The fans were going fucking bananas. It was awesome.
Who doesn't like a 2-0 lead?
Oh, I just got nailed in the face.
I saw that.
Oh, my wife who doesn't like it with a little this looks like a fucking Beanie Baby dinosaur.
She's
straight pow right in the kisser.
Hitting you with the dildo.
Pow right in the kisser.
Who doesn't like a 2-0 lead though? Chris Paul.
Ooh, ouch.
Sorry, Crystal Palace, CP.
Ooh. Just saying. I'm under attack, Johnny.
Come on. Yeah, man, I was happy for you. You're going nuts. You called me in the middle of me having my mat ball party and wanted to scream at me. My kids were not being respectful, and I had to hang up.
In my defense, it was like right about the time you're normally home from work.
Oh, 100%. And it was a pod day, so you knew I had some free time. So yeah.
Right.
But yeah, I was happy for Everton. Always stand them. Good for them. Happy they made it. Our last cooking is just the Eagles. Noted hater of Jalen Hurts, Mr. Garbage Time. But it is what it is. They brought in AJB. That's my boy. And they gave up like a mid-round first for him.
Insane.
Steal.
When that happened, I was like, is this, you know what? Actually, that was the moment of the draft where I was like, I'm done. I'm going to go to bed.
Like, why wouldn't, if you're Atlanta and you're taking a wide receiver at 8, just go trade for AJB. Like, he was better than anybody in this draft. Like, and clearly, if you're going to give up 8, you probably would have gotten like a third back or something like that. Like,
it's not a running back. If it was running back, yeah, give me the young guy.
Right.
Jesus.
But yeah, so got AJB automatically elevates their offense like crazy. Sad about my Jordan. I have AJB and Goddard in the same league, so that's a bit of a bummer there. Jordan Davis, already mentioned him. Tank just signed James Bradbury, who, from everything I hear, is a very good corner. I've seen him lock down many people, many wide receivers.
Slay.
Right, and they aim to get to pair him with Slay, and so like, what the hell are you gonna do? And they still have 2 first-round picks next year. Like, they're cooking. Like, you just gotta give it to them. I don't like cheer for Philly teams, but I
forgot what they essentially parlayed the Wentz trade into is bananas. I can't remember exactly what it was, but
just the fact that they got a first for him.
Right, like they win the trade to start, But then the fact what they did with it, damn.
Yeah, I mean, it was either Aaron Schatz or it was Warren Sharp. I can't remember which analytics guy, but they said how ridiculous it was, the Saints trade where they added that first from Philly, and just the fact of the number, like they gave up a 23 first plus like a bunch of like second and thirds. Like basically gave up like 5 starter quality picks to
Oh
add
yeah, yeah, yeah.
one to each your one first. And it's just
Mm-hmm.
like you're like that's just not winning football. And so
No.
the Eagles are just they're killing it right now. I I hope they don't stick with Mr. Garbage Time because I would like AJB to get a real quarterback, but they're going to make the playoffs again, and so they
Oh,
probably
easy.
will. Right. So,
Because
booking
the NFC's cooking. I mean, the NFC's booking is what I meant.
NFC is bad. It's real bad. Um, Starting with, we already teased this one. Chris Paul, 5, not 1, not 2, not 3, 5 blown 2-0 playoff leads. There's no player with 4.
How many
That's
does?
horrible.
I wonder how many Doc Rivers has. I mean,
He's the king of the 3-1 blown lead.
oh yeah, because I know him
But
and
they do
Paul
have
did a
some
couple of
overlap,
those together. Yeah.
right? They have some overlap. And I know there was injuries in some of them, but at the end of the day, like if you're the point guard, like eventually you have to break through, right? I mean, he's never even made an NBA. Never mind, he made the NBA Finals last year, but whatever. He's an all time choker. It is what it is.
At this point, yeah.
And like I get it's impressive. He's LG out there 6 foot, but again, like he's the PMT called this like he's the best. Like he's the best player that still sucks.
I love
Like
how 6 feet is LG.
yeah, in NBA, yeah, right. This dude's like towers over me, and I'm calling him an LG.
Yeah, because I'm six
But
feet tall, and it's very rare that I look up at people.
right, and then this dude's a dwarf up there. Like if you're 6'3", people are giving you the too short sign. Next one is the Reds. It's a go-to. They're the new Houston. They threw a no-no, so let's clap it up. They threw
Let's
a
go
no-no.
Reds.
They still lost.
Oh,
It's hard to do, man. I mean, if you tell me, hey, we're not going to give up any hits, I'm smashing that money line, right? I don't care what the odds
yeah.
are.
Hey guys, we're gonna go out there, and guess what? Other team is not gonna get a hit tonight.
Not one
really?
time.
Cool. Fuck yeah, let's go.
Nope.
Wah, wah, wah.
Wait. Right?
Yeah.
I'm trying to go the reverse image. I had to do the other hand. But yeah, so the Reds still betting against them every time I remember. I bet the other team.
Here's the thing I love about it is, I mean, the Reds are obviously a complete shit show. But like they've got this young prospect, Hunter Green. He's a pitcher, and the kid, he's just a huge kid, and he just goes out there and just throws like 100 all the time, and he just fireballs it. And he started the season like shit. And that other night, he just had it. He had it going, but he was at like 120 pitches in the eighth, and they had to pull him. And the reliever gives up a fielder's choice later to score a run.
Yeah.
Only the Reds.
I remember I was in Louisville at the Louisville Slugger Museum, which is right by Cincinnati. And so there were a bunch of Reds fans there. I remember they had the number 1 pick, and I was like, oh man, Hunter Green, like he's like you gotta take him. And they're like pumped. So it's just funny to see, years later him taking advantage and hitting there. So I love that for them. Last one is my boy Justin Fields. He's booking because apparently the front office doesn't believe in him, and they're purposely sabotaging him to make him look bad so they can move on next year. Because that makes a lot of sense.
That's what Bears Twitter thinks.
Oh, I've seen that I've seen written articles on like Football Outsiders and like legitimate websites pushing this narrative. It's probably just to get Bears fans like me fired up and we'll click on it. But like,
yeah.
Do you really think the McCaskies would hire people that didn't believe in the guy they just traded 2 first-round picks for? Like, they moved up, and then they gave up their 23, which ended up being number 7. Like,
how are you supposed to replace said quarterback?
Oh, in 23, they're going to draft a new guy.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm
Not
saying.
not add a wide receiver or offensive line like everyone's saying because they didn't surround him well. That's what they should have done. So they're not going to do that with that top 5 pick they're going to get next year. No, they're going to draft a new quarterback after sabotaging him because then everyone's going to want to trade for Fields, right?
Yeah.
Perfect logic.
Because if you're going to get a new guy, you would want to make your team worse now so he doesn't succeed when he gets here.
Right. And it has nothing to do with the fact that Pace kept spending future money and they just had to get out of these contracts. Otherwise, they were never going to, like, they had to wipe the slate clean. It had nothing to do with that.
Let's give a hand to the Bears. They finally got rid of Nick Foles. All right. That's one positivity.
We can do Pelvis story.
All right, fine.
So we're at the Wings. We're at Wings. We're watching day 2. We're having a lot of fun. Bears obviously didn't have first round pick, and so the first pick was 43, I believe. And I literally called it. I said they're like Pickens is who I wanted the Bears to get, and I said the Bears are going to have Pickens on the available to them, and they're going to draft a cornerback. That's exactly what they did. So I was already pissed off. Then pick 50 comes around. He's still there. Sky Moore's still there. Like
a lot of receivers.
Right. I'm like, okay, we're good. Take one now. Nope. Another safety. Who, in a vacuum, I like both those picks. I like building from the back. I think both are good players. I think our defense will be a lot better. And secondary was a nightmare last year. But you got to help Fields, in my opinion. Anyway, so they get the third round. Still some good right. Shakir, Calvin Austin.
Mm-hmm. Was Pierce available still?
Pierce was gone. He went one pick after. He went pick 51 right after the Bears didn't take a wide receiver.
Oh, okay.
And I watch a lot of film. I have a big board. I'm a nerd about rookies, right? They drafted a wide receiver. I didn't fucking know he existed. And then I look at his name and it's Velus Jones. I just go, we drafted a dude named Pelvis.
Like, you didn't say it. This is no joke. We're just sitting there and we're in the third round, right? Was it the third? Yeah.
Pick 71.
So when they're like not announcing the names anymore, so they'll just put it up on the bottom, and you just slam the table. What the fuck? Have we drafted Pelvis?
My dude, I watch so many wide receivers. How can they draft the guy I don't know? And then I look him up, and he's goddamn 25 years old. He's older than Mooney. Dude had one good year in college, but like if you watch his tape, he's just like a screen guy. Like he's like people are like, oh, he's got a body build like Debo. Stop comparing people to Debo.
Yeah,
like,
right.
Debo runs harder than most running backs. Like Velvis is not that guy. Or Velus. I don't even know his stupid name. I call him Pelvis. That's his name. Pelvis fucking Jones. The worst part is he's probably going to be decent rookie year just because they have literally no one else to throw to. But it just pisses me off that they drafted an old wide receiver who is basically a better returner than wide receiver.
Why don't you hit us with the last line of the scouting report you read?
So I was, they always do analysis on like, each pick and kind of say it. And so Jordan Reed, who was like, shout out him. I love that he's making his day and climb into ESPN and everything because he was my very first like draft Twitter guy I followed. His last line was, doesn't run routes consistently or catch the ball cleanly. Just what you want to see with your day 2 wide receiver, right?
Yeah.
Bad route runner, bad hands.
We need to blow this popsicle stand. It's getting too sad.
All right. Cheers up with everybody's favorite golfer.
Okay. We got the PGA Championship kicking off today.
Go Rory.
Go Rory. We got a nice big field. You get a lot of the the older guys who are longtime PGA members and qualified for the tournament, and they'll just keep playing and coming back. And one of those guys who keeps coming back is old John Daly. If you don't know John Daly, he's been playing for long ass time. He smokes a lot of cigarettes and doesn't give a fuck.
Fat.
The senior PGA championship was near where I live a couple of years ago, and my dad and my brother and I went for a round to walk around and watch. And this dude is ripping cigs between holes. It was hilarious. And the most impressive part was, at least watching him versus the rest of the senior tour, when he hit his driver, it sounded different than the rest of those dudes. Like, he still has it.
Right.
So anyways,
I love that. Just ripping darts.
He shot +2 today, and if the cut happened today, he'd make the cut. Like,
that's awesome.
Anyways, there was a story this week that broke about Tiger talking about the 2007 PGA at this course, where it was 107 degrees, and Tiger told a story of, he asked John Daly how much water he had or something like that, and John Daly just said, I've had like 12 Diet Cokes. I don't drink water. So shout out to Will Brinson on Twitter, who I guess followed out there and got some stats for us. And this is the final tally of literally everything he put into his body over a full 18 holes. 21 cigs, 12 Diet Cokes.
21 cigs on 18 holes. Just keep going.
12 Diet Cokes, 6 packs of peanut M&Ms,
yellow bag,
and 0.0 ounces of water.
Goose egg.
Okay. I can't imagine what my body would feel like if I just sat there and drank 12 Diet Cokes and ate 6 bags of M&Ms. And this guy also...
That's so much.
Plowing a pack of cigarettes and playing a competitive round of golf. He's the hero we need.
He's got a Santa Claus beard now.
Yeah.
He's just killing it.
Dude, just beer belly too, like straight up beer belly.
Oh, he is just living the best life. He lives like a bachelor. I props to him. That's like the dream, being a golfer that's good enough to just get by and just make a killing of a living and just not give a shit about being the best or doing your peak performance or
like this is what the male body peak performance male body looks like, whatever that is.
Yeah,
John Daly.
God damn it, fucking legend.
And with that, man, we gotta leave it there.
He's a king. God bless John Daly.
Let's hope he makes the cut, makes some noise in the weekend, because we need some John Daly screen time.
Although, shout out you told me who to bet for the PGA, and you said Rory or Spieth, but wait, and I listened to half of that, and I bet Rory, and he is absolutely crushing it. And I saw the last 2 times he had a 5, like a -5 round.
-5, yeah.
He won, so
let's go. I was watching some of his round today. He just looks like he's like walking up to the ball. It's just like you can just tell like he knows what he's doing. There's no like second guessing his decisions. Like you can just tell he's locked in.
Well, I basically bet him just because of how he looked at the Masters. Like you could tell that last round he found something. So I'm like, let's go.
And he fit a lot of the like goofy trends. Like there was a trend about like nobody has won a major in the last like I forgot how many years if you didn't play in either of the 2 weeks leading to it.
Mm-hmm.
So essentially every player in this field who took the last 2 weeks off, you could already throw them out for winning.
Interesting.
Yeah. The more you know.